we go. Hello, hello. If you guys have not noticed, we are wearing headphones. We got some new equipment. It's levels now. How you doing?
Good on you, chump.
Good. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Uncovering Greatness podcast. As always, I am your host, Sully, and today I am joined by somebody you guys are all going to know very, very soon. If you don't know, I'm here with Barry Mitchell. Barry, how are you?
How's it, Sully?
Good, thank you.
I was trying to wonder who you were trying to introduce.
I have to introduce...
Someone you're going to know very soon.
Yeah, I had to introduce it like that because, there's not many people that I know that decide to do an Ironman 20 weeks before the Ironman.
Well, it was a half Ironman.
Half Ironman, sorry. But yeah. I don't know many people who do that. So this episode is going to be dedicated to talking about your Ironman journey, but more so, how can South African business owners and African business owners apply those lessons into their business?
Yeah, I mean, interesting. There's a lot of lessons I took out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the very first thing was, I suppose one thing that really came up was when I decided to do it, I connected with my friend and mentor and, business partner, Blair Singer. And I said to Blair, hey, I'm going to do an Ironman. And, he didn't come back to me and say, is that my ears or is that?
No. It's
Wondering if my ear was going. But anyway, so
yeah, you're saying
what? So yeah, he didn't say to me, when you've done the race, tell me how the race went.
Yeah.
What he said is that is so awesome. Tell me what you learn in the journey. And I think it's something that a lot of people forget these days, is that actually the learning is in the journey. It's not in the end result. And it was just reaffirmed to me, 20 weeks of training. I got very focused in 20 weeks. I found the time to do it. But the learnings that I got in the journey, yes, I got learnings on the race. I got learnings doing the Half Ironman. But it was really the journey. And many people in business are focused on the end result. They want the end result. I want money now. I want a big business. I want lots of people. But it's actually the journey and the process to get you there that gets you there. I know that sounds maybe a little bit dwarf, but I've learned in life, Sully, that actually the dwarf simple things are the shit that people aren't doing, man.
Yeah.
It's the journey to success is very simple. And the journey to building a business is very simple. The journey to making money is very simple. It's very hard.
Yeah.
And I've been teaching this for a long time. It's simple, just not easy. Most people want it easy and they focus on the result. So I think that was the first step for me is I began with the end in mind. I decided sort of 20 odd weeks ago that I was going to do this Half Ironman. And what did I do? I entered.
Made a decision.
I looked and said, when's the next one? It said November the 16th. I said, great, where's it? Mossel Bay. And I entered. I paid my entrance fee, got some skin in the game, got in the game. I was done.
Yeah.
And so that I think is a key learning, is a lot of times people are hanging around waiting for everything to line up and waiting to get all the information and waiting for when they're ready and waiting for if you take that back into business, waiting for when the economy's right, waiting for when their clients are right, waiting until they've developed a great product, waiting until they have the right idea. But somewhere you've got to make a decision, you're going to do it, and take a step in the right direction in order to create the results that you want to create. So that was the first thing, is I made a decision, I was going to do it. And interestingly, a friend of mine was the reason I was going to do it. He ended up, for a number of reasons, not being able to do it. and I'm excited to say that he will do the next one in Durban with me. But he couldn't do it for a reason, and that was fine. But that didn't stop me from doing it.
Yeah.
Once I had made the decision, and the reason it didn't stop me is because I put some skin in the game. I paid for the entry, and I was in the game. I made the commitment. And I think a lot of times in business, people are waiting for other people, and when they're going to do it with somebody else and it doesn't work out the way they wanted, it gives them a reason to pull out.
Yeah.
And so that was the first thing, is get some skin in the game, make a decision, and make a commitment to the decision you make. You know, John Maxwell says it wonderfully. He says, too many people are worried about making the decision. Make the decision and make the decision right.
No.
So I made the decision to do a Half Ironman, and then I made the decision right.
Yeah.
Was it the right time? No.
Because there's never a right time.
Well, I mean, the 2 weeks leading into the race, I had 7, 8, 9 days of committed training that I was in.
And
So I was running in the room for 9 days, and I traveled to 3 different countries.
And you still had to actually keep training for that.
And I had to keep training.
You're not gonna take the 9 days off because you're working, because you're leading up to it.
100%. One particular client, we were in the eastern side of Zimbabwe, and there was no pool there. I had no bike, so I had to run, and it was all dirt roads. Guess what? And the event that I was doing started at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I had to get in a couple of long runs, which meant I was running at 4 o'clock in the morning.
And I mean, from like a business perspective, right? People could actually go, because I have these events on, or I mean, if we take it into a business context, because I have to send all these emails and I have to do all these proposals, I can't actually go out and sell.
So let's look at it in our context.
Yeah.
I meet people all the time that say, I really need to learn how to sell.
Yes.
And I go, great. I have a 2-day sales explosion coming up. Why don't you come to the sales explosion? Yeah, but it's not the right timing. How do you mean it's not the right timing? You told me that you're struggling to make money. You told me that you want to grow your business, and it's not the right timing. Well, how badly do you want to actually do it? Because make the decision, commit to the decision, and you'll find the time to do it.
Yeah.
And, everybody that I spoke to around that said, it's amazing that when you make a commitment, and it's true to life, it's true to business, when you are committed to do something, you'll find the time to do it if it becomes a priority in your life. There was a lady that competed who has an 8-month-old baby. So 8 months after giving birth, she's doing the event. How many people would say, well, when my child grows up, then I'll do it. And then you take that back into business. Well, when I have enough money, well, when my business plan is right, well, when I find the right supplier, well, when I do all this, well, I want to learn how to sell when I have money, well, I want to learn financial literacy when I get money. Well, the reality is you're never going to do it. Because nothing lines up until you make the decision and find the time. And you will find the time. You created the time. I mean,
that's what you did, right?
You
had to wake up super early to go run.
I am pretty busy in my life. When I say busy, I run a pretty tight schedule at the moment.
Yeah.
And have done for a while. I don't know. This year I've made maybe 50 flights.
Sure.
I stopped counting, but maybe I've made 50 flights this year, and I've traveled in and out of Southern Africa. 25 times this year, run a whole series of events in South Africa, have consistent clients that I'm working with.
Yep.
And I have a lot on the go. I have a family. I have a lot on the go. And then I go, well, I'm going to put this Ironman, Half Ironman thing, and that revolves around, 12 to 14 hours of training a week. Well, guess what? I found the time. There were things in my life that I was doing that I didn't need to do. I stopped doing those because this became a priority. So when you take it into your business, what are you prioritizing? What do you need to do? If you need to make money, prioritize sales.
Yeah.
If you need to learn how to build a team, if you need to build a team, prioritize building a team. Otherwise, everything else will get in the way. Make the commitment, draw a line in the sand, and go after and get it done.
Something that I was really thinking about during this process is, so what last year was your world rowing did the world record?
2022, yeah.
2022.
Yeah.
What was last year? 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
2
you've-
years ago.
But you've always done, I mean, you've done like CrossFit competitions and you've done you've put yourself in some weird positions and weird situations.
Well, I suppose I like challenging myself. A couple of reasons is one, I spend my time teaching people how to overcome their mindset.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm not prepared to put myself in challenging positions and overcome my mindset, well, how do I earn the right to teach other people to do the same thing? So that for me is the first step. And it's part of my code of honor is live what you teach.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not going to be the fastest half Ironman athlete at all. But I'd never done an Ironman, half Ironman. It's a challenge. I'd never rowed in the World Indoor Rowing Championships. It was a challenge. This stuff that I've learned to do in CrossFit and become more mobile, that was a challenge.
Yeah.
So how are you challenging yourself? And the reason I like to do these things is because it challenges me mentally and physically. And building a business is a mental and physical challenge. So where you challenge yourself in one area and you can become disciplined in an area, you can duplicate that discipline in another area.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like it's sort of the same for if you're running a business, you're running a team, whatever it might be within the business space. If you want to challenge your team, right? So, for example, with you can now actually come to us and challenge us to do certain things because you've done those things.
Yeah,
you're not speaking from just a position of title. I'm the boss, therefore that's why I'm challenging you, right?
Well, if I deem that our team needs to get healthier.
Yeah,
I mean, you know that I'm on your case.
100%.
I'm on your case. So you get healthier. I mean, you're still a young man. You have a long way to go. And if you don't look after your health,
Yeah,
it's going to affect you. You've got to make that choice. But if I'm getting on your case about Sully, dude, I don't expect you to do a half Ironman. But why aren't you running? Or why aren't you going to gym? Or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I'm sitting here, I don't know, 120 kgs and I'm overweight and unfit, and I'm saying you need to be able to get fit. Well, it's the pot calling the kettle black, and I don't earn the right. So it's what it does is it allows me to. I just look at it this way. I can lead from the front.
yeah,
And I'll say it again because the physical challenge leads to a mental challenge, and when you do things physically, you can take all those things back into your business, back into your life, because that's what life is. Life is a challenge. Business is a challenge.
Yeah.
And too many people are not. I'll very simply, they're too friggin' weak, mindset-wise, because I believe we're not pushing ourselves into challenges. Challenges are going to come. So the more you push yourself and you elect to challenge yourself, the stronger you make yourself. That when the challenges that you don't elect come, you're already in a position to be able to be tough enough to be able to withstand more than you would. Does that make sense?
yeah.
In today's world, I just think people are not becoming tough.
Yeah,
And we wimping out. Yeah, I do. I think people in business and are wimping out at the quickest sign of discomfort.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I was actually putting together an email today around Be Do Have. Funny enough, and while putting it together, I was thinking about you and the Ironman and like business as a whole, and especially in South Africa, like we've gotten into this stage where, and we speak about it a lot, right? Everybody wants to have. People want to have this off life.
They want to have money.
They want to have money,
have a job,
have a business. We look at these people on social media who buy these expensive cars and we want to have that.
Generally, they rent these expensive cars
100%.
so that they
No,
can
but you
shoot some videos. But
I don't know that. For me, they're showing me their fancy cars and their fancy houses, right? Nobody is actually going, like you were saying now, nobody's going, well, who do I need to be to have those things?
Well, so the first thing is, what do I need to do?
Got you.
So you have to be prepared to do what you need to do. And then the next thing is, who do you need to be in order to get there?
Okay.
So be, do, have is a great analogy. So if you go back to the analogy of doing this half Ironman, I decided I wanted to have the half Ironman. What does that mean? I want to compete on the 16th of November in Mossel Bay.
Yeah.
Okay, and I wanted to finish. I wanted to cross the finish line.
Yeah, well.
What did I have to do in order to cross the finish line? I had to do a 1.9 kilometer swim, a 90 kilometer ride, and a 21 kilometer run within an 8 hours and 30-minute time break. That is it. That's in order to have, and I would say the honor is always to have the honor of saying, I've done a half Ironman. That's what I wanted to have. So I made a decision. Now, in order for me to have what I wanted to have, what's the first thing I had to do? I had to register and pay a fee. Now I'm in. Okay. Does it mean 21 weeks ago that I was ready to do a half Ironman?
Probably
Definitely not. Definitely not. I was doing a lot of CrossFit, a lot of weight training. I'd picked up a fair amount of weight. I was at least 15 kgs too heavy. I weighed 110 kgs, and was I in my prime position to say, wow, I'll do this half Ironman because my base fitness was good, but I was too heavy.
Yeah, too much weight to move.
I was doing very little running, but so the first thing is I made that decision. Okay, so get in the game. So I got in the game. Then I said, okay, what do I need to do? And I followed what would be typical action type of person. I went on Googled a triathlon program, downloaded it, and said I'm going to follow the triathlon program.
Okay.
And for the first 4 weeks it was fine.
Yeah.
And I had a running program, and I was doing the things, and then I was like, okay, I don't know enough about this. I need to hire an expert. And I think if you take that back into the business analogy, that's where so many people get stuck.
Yeah.
Is when I make it, then I can do it. You know?
Then I'll get then I'll bring somebody in to help me.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about it in our meeting. One of a person that came to one of our free events.
Yeah.
Was telling one of our team, when I make some money, then I'll come to the next program.
Yep.
But he desperately needs to sell.
Yep.
So what he's going to do is going to wait until everything lines up so that he can come. It's not going to line up.
No.
So, and the reality is if you want it to line up and if you want everything to work, who's mentoring you, who's coaching you, who's done what you want to do. So after 4 weeks of like, okay, I'm doing this, but there's a lot of stuff I don't know. I went online. I Googled some coaches. I found a coach.
Yeah.
I reached out to her. She said she would coach me. I paid her for 3 months worth of coaching up front. I was committed. I put more skin in the game.
Yeah. Okay. That's exactly what I was going to say.
I put more skin in the game. Yeah. I was committed. I'm not waiting. Please help me, and when I get the money, then I'll pay you back. Why would I expect her to do that? She's a seasoned athlete in her own right. She has experience that I don't have. She has knowledge that I don't have, that I want.
Yeah.
Why would I expect her to give it away for free until I'm ready to pay her? So, no, I paid for 3 months. Why did I pay for 3 months? Because I want my commitment and I want her commitment. And she was committed. And then she sent me an 18-week program, and I followed the program. And along the way, there were certain things that I didn't want to do.
Like take a break.
Well, one of them was a rest day.
Yeah.
And after 2 weeks, she sent me a message, you haven't had a rest day. And I said, well, you don't really know me. I don't do rest days. And she said, on this program, you will do a rest day. Now I had a choice. Well, I don't like my coach because I can't do what I want to do and fire the coach. Now, guess what? Does that happen in business?
Yeah.
Very often. People hire a mentor, hire a coach, don't like what they're teaching them to do, unprepared to submit.
You held me accountable.
Don't want to be held accountable. Want to change their life, but don't want to be held flipping accountable.
100%.
And then blame the coach and the mentor, or blame the training program because they didn't implement it. And I had to stop and go,
what do I want?
What do I want? No, I want to follow the program. I said, okay, I'll take a rest day. Now, it doesn't mean that I was happy taking it, but I submitted and took it. I can tell you what, I love rest days now. Because logically I knew what a rest day was. Psychologically, I was like, I don't do rest days.
Yeah,
I just keep
not
going.
at all.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And and lots of people, but do you know the benefit of rest days? Yes, I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
But then why don't you do them? Because I'm stupid.
There's a difference.
But so when you get the knowledge,
Yeah.
and so I got a coach. She gave me a program. Every single week she checked in with me, and it was my commitment. How much of the program I could do. I ended up in sort of 18 weeks accomplishing probably close to 90% of everything that was set out.
Jeez.
And found the time to do it. I learned a lot on the way.
Yeah.
So yes, I engaged with an expert. Once I had engaged with that expert, I never looked at other experts. I didn't look at advice from other experts. I didn't go out and check if there was a better program. I submitted to that program. I was submitted for 16 weeks, 18 weeks. I was in the game, and that's what I did.
Yep.
And I trusted. And I think a lot of times in business, people lack trust. They want the answers. They want the magic bullet. They want the easy way out instead of actually just tell me what I need to do and how I'm going to do it and submit to getting it done. So now I knew what I had to do. Now it was training myself to be who I needed to be to get it done. And who did I need to be? I needed to be disciplined. I needed to commit to agreements. I needed to hold myself accountable. I needed to have some integrity. All the stuff that I have in my code of honor.
Yeah.
And I made a commitment. Once I made the commitment, that's my code of honor. That's my set of values. I did what I had to do. And I went from 1 week to next week to the next week to the next week. And guess what? 20 weeks came. Boom, done. Found myself in Mossel Bay and did a Half Ironman. Got some wonderful lessons on the Half Ironman. Completed the task. But when I look back, it was a great event. Really loved doing the event. Definitely, I've already signed up to do another one. And from there, when I look back though, it was the journey of the 20 weeks into it.
Yeah.
The commitment, the discipline, the focus, the finding ways to get around all the obstacles that come. Because when you commit to doing something that you've never done before, believe me, there's going to be lots of obstacles. I had obstacles to get around. I had one of my nephew's bachelor parties, 3 days of golf and all that. I would have loved to have a whole lot of dorps with them and really
be a part of it.
But over that weekend, I had to do a 90 kilometer cycle. I had to do an 18 kilometer run, and I had to do 2 swims.
Yeah.
I did it. I still participated in the whole bachelor party. I still got involved. I didn't make it an issue.
Yeah.
But I didn't drink anything because that was my commitment. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What I learned, and I've observed it many times.
There you go.
And what I observed was that the right people will always step up and support you.
100%.
Yeah, my
100%.
nephews and that were like, "Hey, Uncle Barry, have a dorp," but they didn't give me a hard time on it. They supported me on a hard time, and they said, "Friggin' wonderful to see that you're prepared to do that and follow your goals and your dreams."
And I mean, it's exactly the same in business, right? Like,
Yeah.
who do you have around you that is supporting you to achieve what you want to achieve in your business?
Yeah, whose bullshit are you believing?
Exactly.
Or whose encouragement are you getting around?
If you're sitting at the braais with your mates and they're like, "Oh no, your business is gonna suck. Like, just go back to your job." Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, or it's not our fault that our business is bad because the government's not handing this out. No one's giving us this. No one's giving us loans. But you're not actually challenging each other, saying, "Dude, have you made your phone calls?
Yeah.
Are you out
What are you
selling?
actually doing?
Have you been in the market? What are you doing? Have you done? Do you have a plan? Have you got a coach?" They're not challenging.
Yeah.
Whereas the people I surround myself with are challenging me.
Yeah. All the time.
100%. Some of one of my biggest clients. When he came up to Joburg, I ran with him.
Yeah.
He came on our 5-day program, ran with me every morning, 10, 12 Ks. I went to Namibia. He had set up a bike for me, and we went on a ride. He's a cyclist. He took me on a ride so that he could give me some pointers.
100%.
He didn't go. So supported me. Didn't say, oh no, we have a company event and why aren't you having a glass of wine?
Yeah.
He was like, dude, I know you're not having a glass of wine. And so you surround yourself with the right people. And I think in business, all too often, people aren't surrounding themselves with the right people. I mean, that's why we run Entrepreneur Hangout, a monthly breakfast.
Right.
For entrepreneurs and business owners in a community of like-minded people who are pushing themselves.
Yeah.
That's why Nicole and I teach in that frame.
100%.
We teach from the perspective of what we've done to help business owners move to the next level.
Yeah, and I think...
does that make sense?
Yeah.
My next step would be, from now until June, I'm going to find a group of people that have done a half Ironman. I'm going to start training with them so that I can learn from people that are bigger than me in the event, better than me event, can push me, give me tips, and I'm going to listen to what they do.
Yeah.
It'll help me get to the next level. Yes, I started out on my own, then I got a coach. Now I want to hang out with a group of like-minded people who, when it comes to a Sunday morning ride, are like, where you, dude? Versus just relying on myself and my own discipline.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing in business. Who are you hanging around with? Who is helping you not helping you by doling out free stuff and giving you free business. It's not what I mean by help. Who is helping you stay accountable and do the things that you need to do and not tolerating your bullshit or you tolerating their bullshit? Because the two of you are going into agreement about why you shouldn't do what you should be doing, that you should be doing, but you're both going to make excuses for each other.
Yeah. So, I think that if you guys or any of you are watching this and you're wondering where the business lessons are, they're in all of it if you're not paying attention. So just start it again, start the podcast again, subscribe, and then listen properly. Because I think that's the key thing, right?
Building a business is a journey, Sudi.
Yeah.
And what are the lessons you're going to get in the journey? But in the journey, what's the process you're going to follow?
Yeah.
I followed a process. I got a coach who gave me a process. You want to sell and make money? Get a sales process.
Yeah.
Follow the sales process. In committing to follow this process, I learned skills. I learned my weaknesses. I learned what to get better at, what I had to improve on. I learned what I was good at.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's exactly the same in business. What's your business process? What are the skills that you're going to have to learn? What are the skills that you already know? What are the skills you can get better at? So in sales, what's your process? What are the skills? What's the process? What are the steps you have to follow? Do you commit to following those steps? Can you do them day in and day out? In doing them day in and day out, what are the weaknesses that you have to get better on? How are you going to answer the phone, pick up the phone, make the phone calls? What practice are you going to do? So I practiced. That's what I did. I practiced for 20 weeks.
Yeah.
And the practice was, the practice is the hard part. So I practiced a process and practiced training and got fitter and fitter for 20 weeks in order to do the event.
Yeah.
So that's the business. How much practice are you doing? What process are you following? Are you clear on your process? Who's advising you how to get better, what to tweak, what to change, how to improve your skills? Or are you doing it off the cuff?
So in terms of what you're saying, right, like finding a coach or finding a mentor, and you've said this to me before, but like just for anybody who doesn't know, how important is it to find somebody that you can actually communicate with? So when I say communicate, I mean pick up the phone and call, versus so you just watching all Barry's content on Facebook and on YouTube, and you're implementing that, but you're not actively speaking to Barry. Are you a mentor and coach, or are you just somebody that they're learning from?
I'm just someone who produces content.
Okay.
That's how I look at it.
All right.
I'm someone who produces content. I am unbelievably grateful that you're getting value out of it, and that's why we produce content.
Yeah.
Get value, follow. If it's working for you, keep doing it. But for me, a mentor and a coach is someone who understands your journey,
Yeah.
who gets to know you,
Yeah.
gets to know what your goal is, and guides you in that goal specifically for you.
Got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I teach from this perspective, it's general teaching. But does that make sense?
Yes.
It's generalist.
Yes.
Whereas when I'm coaching someone, like when I run our
Get moving.
Get Moving program,
Yeah.
we have 15 to 20 entrepreneurs in a room for 12 months.
Yeah.
I am very clear on why they're there, what they're getting out of each person's strengths, each person's weaknesses, where their businesses are. So when I sit with them for one-on-one sessions, I'm coaching them specifically for their goal.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Whereas generally, you can read my book, you'd get the generalist perspective.
Yes.
But a mentor and coach is someone who, like people say to me, oh, I was mentored by Robert Kiyosaki. I go, what do you mean by that? Oh, no, I've read all his books and I watch his videos. I'm like, he's not a mentor.
No.
He's someone you're learning from.
Yes.
He's someone whose content you're taking
Consume.
and you're implementing. That's great, but he's not a mentor. A mentor, I mean, I was mentored by Robert Kiyosaki.
Yes.
He knew what I wanted to do. He kicked my butt and he pushed me and that, but does it make sense?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
It was one-on-one. So in terms of business, very big difference between getting content, learning and applying and having a mentor or a coach.
Yeah, because I mean, I see that a lot in our niche, in our industry. If you look at anybody's content, any of the guys' content, you'll always see people commenting things like my mentor. And I'm like, I know you've never spoken to this person once.
And if you met them in the street, would they even know who you were?
100%. And that's
How
like
can they be a mentor?
100%. That's the importance of having a mentor. And I think especially in South Africa, man, and we always speak about it as well. Nobody taught anybody how to run a business. People have learned through trial and error and things like that, right? Like I was...
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't learn how to run a business in school. You don't learn how to run a business at university.
Yeah.
So
No, so I'm busy reading The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday, and I'm at
Great
that section.
book, man.
Yeah, what a cracker. But I'm at that section where
it all comes down to one word or two words.
What?
Little voice.
Yes, 100%. That's all it is.
It comes back to your little voice.
It's a little voice.
Yeah.
But there's one chapter where he speaks about all the great businesses that were created during something major.
Yes.
So major recessions, the housing collapses, or I mean, I think even things like Amazon, like companies that are now the big companies of the world today, were created
Through some crisis.
Yeah. And there was nobody there to guide those
There's
business
no
owners.
perfect time to do it.
No. And it's exactly like what you're saying about getting skin in the game, right? So make a commitment, make a decision, and then make that decision right. Right? And if you look at all these businesses, these big businesses that have survived till today, they didn't know that they were in a crisis when the crisis was happening.
Well, the crisis was there.
Yeah, it was around it. But
Yeah, I think, but it shows that take a step. Do what you want to do when you're going to do it.
Yeah.
There's too many people out there waiting for the right time to start their business, waiting for the right time to launch their product. You're never going to launch it because the time's never going to be right.
Yeah.
I mean, goodness me, the right time for me to have done a half Ironman was when I was 25 or 30, not when I'm 50.
Theoretically.
Yes.
Yeah. By theory. By theory, yeah.
I'm not a big runner anymore. I've never been a big runner. Yeah, I've run a half marathon a couple of times before, and I've run 10Ks, and I've done lots of running, but I'm not a runner.
Yeah.
I did some cycling. Last time I got on my bike before March of 2025 was 25 years ago. I haven't been on a bike
Jeez.
for 25 years.
That's crazy.
I left Durban. I did lots of cycling in Durban. Left Durban just under 25 years ago. Arrived in Joburg, rode for 3 months, nearly got run off 73 times or whatever it was.
It's Joburg
and
drivers.
went, it's too dangerous to ride in Joburg. And I sold my bike.
It is
and
too
I
dangerous.
haven't been on any form of, I haven't meaningful cycling since then.
Yeah.
Yes, I've ridden some stationary bikes in the gym and ridden stationary bikes at CrossFit, but that's not meaningful cycling.
No.
And I get out and I decide I'm going to do an Ironman. It wasn't the right timing. Surely logic would go, well, why don't you buy a bike and do some cycling first and get, well, great. But that's not how you achieve challenges. I don't know. If I was a cyclist, great. So I got a bike, started cycling.
But also you had somebody like Mornay who cycles. Cycling is what he does. to give you feedback, give you pointers, give you tips, right? Which was vital. Not he wasn't a mentor, but he was somebody who's done
Yeah,
a high
so-
level of cycling.
So the reality is, Sully, whether I had someone like that in my life or not, it was irrelevant. There's only 7.5 billion people in the world. You're telling me you can't find someone who's done what you want to do? That's a bullshit excuse, man.
It is.
So I found people.
Yeah.
And now someone's going to say, well, maybe you had the money. Some of it didn't cost me any money. I surrounded myself with people.
Yeah.
So, you know, someone like Mornay is an avid cyclist, highly successful cyclist. I asked him for pointers and tips, and I took his pointers and tips. I hired a coach. Yes, I paid the coach. Great, but that's what she does. But I think it's such an excuse that I have no one to help me. You know, we have a free sales training session every 2 weeks in Joburg.
Every 2 weeks.
Ignite your sales. Come in there and ask some questions. You can get help for free.
You can come as much many times as you want.
People will say, oh no, when are you coming to do it in our area? I'm not. You know, get in your car, hire it, get in a taxi, do something. Why? Because the important things in your life you would.
And then
You
people
know,
say people will
people
turn around
go
and say
watch
there's no
Kaiser-
opportunities.
They'll go watch Kaiser Chiefs
Yeah.
and take a taxi and spend, I don't know.
They'll do
all the-
whatever.
do whatever to get there.
Yeah.
But they're complaining they don't have money, and you say, well, come to a free, oh no, I can't get there.
And then those
It
same
was-
people say there's no opportunities.
It's just priorities. So if you really commit to something and you know what you're committed to and you're going to go after it, and this is the other thing, is, you know, there's that old saying, when the student is ready,
The
the
master
teacher,
appears.
the teacher arrives.
Oh yeah, that's
And the master's ready. But well, make yourself a ready student.
always be ready.
Well, make yourself a ready student.
Yeah.
Know what you want to learn. I knew that I wanted to learn how to get fit enough to do a half Ironman. Okay. Now I've done one. I've got a lot of lessons. Now I spoke to my coach on my way back from Mossel Bay yesterday. I said, right, for the next one. She said, you going to do the next one? I said, damn right. I've just figured out how to do this one, got through all the pain. Now I want to take it to another level.
Because there's something that you learn from it, right?
Well, something I learned and something I can get better. But it's like life. I could have done it and gone, okay, I've done it. That's it. Hated it. Never going to do it again. And that's okay.
Yeah.
I went out. Okay, done it. Friggin' loved the journey. Loved pushing myself, as Chris would say to me, through the pain cave. And now I go, okay, well, let's do it again. But now I'm going to go to my coach and say, right, what do I need to do to take it to the next level? What do I need to do to get better in cycling? What do I need to do to make sure that I get my food and nutrition right? I mean, I said to my nutritionist this morning, I said, I'm taking 2 weeks off. And then in December, I want to sit down with you because in Jan, I want to get very focused on my eating plan, because I need to drop some more weight, get a little bit lighter, build a little bit more muscle in my legs, and go from there. So, and it's the next step. So I'm not sitting around waiting. I'm making some decisions, moving on, going to the next step, embracing the next piece of pain, embracing the next hard, and looking for the people who know more than me, who can help me get to where I want to get to. You know, too many people are sitting around waiting. You know, but no, and then, I mean, I get people, can you mentor me? Sure. Oh, good. When do we start? Come to my free event. You've seen them.
Yeah.
And they don't arrive.
No.
Well, you want me to mentor you,
And you can't even
but you
show
can't
up?
come to a free event. So
Red flag.
Why would I want to waste my time?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then when you come, I'm going to go, okay, I'll tell you what, you have an option. You can come every second week to the free event. Okay. Or you can come to my, I have no money. Okay, well, why don't you buy my sales book? Yeah, okay, I'll buy it next time I come. No, you want to be mentored, but so you have to take some form of advice, and you have to take some next steps.
Yeah.
And those next steps are going to create some pain. They have to create pain. If they're not going to create pain,
They're not gonna
you're
grow
not
you.
moving in the right direction. So you have to create some pain. And that pain is within what you are prepared to be, to be prepared to handle. If you're only prepared to, the next level of pain is read a book on sales. You came to a free event, read a book on sales, and that pain is 400 Rand. Well, embrace the pain of 400 Rand, find 400 Rand, buy my sales book, and move from there.
Yeah.
If you don't just want to read a book, but you want to actually get immersed in sales. Come on my 2-day sales explosion. Well, that's $7,500. I don't have $7,500. Well, embrace the pain of finding $7,500. But I didn't budget on it. Well, embrace the pain, because if those are the steps, and once you get on those steps, embracing the pain is just part of the journey, and then you get to the end result. When you look back, it's the pain that you pushed through, and the discipline that you pushed through, and the discomfort and the obstacles that actually tell the story, not the end result. All that built me to finish the race.
It's so funny. We're 40 minutes into this, and we've not even spoken about the end result, which I think is so epic, because that's what people, and I'm gonna always come back to South Africa. People are so focused on the end result. I want to make $1 million, and you asked this question. I remember you actually at one of the Ignite Your Sales Cafe New Day, Edenvale, the 20th. Link will be in the thing. Book your seats. Just come. If you're in Joburg, come.
If you're not in Joburg, come.
So a lady had said that she wants to have, I think she said something along the lines of 10 million in her account.
Yeah.
And you asked her, well, when did you make your first million? And she's like, I haven't. And I went, damn, how many people do that, right? I want to have 10 million in my account. I've never made $1 million. So I don't, and the worst part is you don't know the journey of what it is to make $1 million.
Yeah. If you've never made 100,000, you're not going to make $1 million.
100%. And it's funny enough, it's actually, and it's what does Nicole say? Success can be just as damaging as failure.
100%.
So you make $1 million, and then because you're so focused on the 10 million, you've made $1 million, but you don't even realize that you've done it.
Yeah.
And you get so stuck on the end result, you forget the entire journey of what you've learned. And I think that's, for me, the exciting thing about you doing what you're doing, because that has now pushed me to go, yeah, I pushed it out. But next year is, and I'm saying it here, my commitment, I will do my first High Rocks next year.
Very good. With me.
I don't want to do it with you. You stay away from me. It's not even that. You're too competitive. You're too competitive, and I know that that's going to make me competitive.
People make you competitive.
No, it's going to make me mad competitive, and I'll hurt myself because I want to beat you.
You're not going to beat me. You're going to do it with me. There's no beating.
Oh, we're doing it as a team?
Yes.
Oh, fair, fine. Sorry, I thought we were doing it individually.
No, we do it as a team.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Yeah. I'll do it with you.
Yeah, because I wouldn't let you do it individually because you wouldn't beat me.
No, I don't. Let's not go down that path. Because now we're gonna.
So if you go, yeah, I mean, if you go back to that, so now that I've done a half Ironman, I'm like, well, could I do a full Ironman?
Oh, interesting.
And
that's your 10 million.
Well, yeah, that could be your 10 million.
Yeah.
But the reality is I'm like, okay, well, let me do another half Ironman. Because I want to make sure that I can do it again, and that I can do it well, and that I can stick with another 6 months of training, and that I can get focused. And someone said to me, so next thing for Ironman? I said, definitely not. I still have to decide if I want to go through the journey of getting there.
Yeah.
If I'm prepared to embrace the journey, embrace the challenge, embrace the hours that I have to train.
Because it's a different journey though, right? Half versus full.
Well, I mean, it's double.
That's it's a big difference.
It's a 3.8k swim versus a 1.9k swim. It's a 180k cycle versus a 90k cycle. It's a half marathon versus a full marathon. So it's a very different game. It's not just, hey, now I can do a half Ironman, I can do a full Ironman. Definitely not.
Yeah.
And I think in business that's what people think. Hey, I've made $1 million. I employed 3 people. Now I can have this multi-gazillion listed company.
Yeah.
It's a different game. The building the business, the process, the blocks, everything is the same. But there's huge lessons, new lessons. I still have to do the same 3 things. I still have to swim, I still have to cycle, and I still have to run. Same in business. You still have to sell. You still have to build a team. You still have to teach. You still have to follow processes and systems. You still have to drive accountability. But they're at very different levels. Very different levels. And that level is a level of being more than doing.
Yeah.
So am I prepared to become the person that one is prepared to put in the time, effort, energy to do the things that are needed to do to compete against myself in a full Ironman or not? So the journey to that is, well, let me do another one. So I'll duplicate what I've done, get better at doing it. And then if I really enjoy that, and I sit down with my coach and I say, do you think I could do an Ironman? If she says, Barry, maybe not, well, I'll probably trust her instinct.
Yeah.
And then if I say, if I did another half Ironman, and she said that would be the best thing before you embark, then I go, okay, great. Now, in my mind, I'm 55 this year. Maybe, I don't know, at what age could I really focus on doing that? So now you've got to weigh those type of things up. But the reality is I would do it. I wouldn't just jump into it. You know,
Yeah.
I could set my goals and say in the next 3 years and sit down with my coach
100%.
to say it's 2025 now, by 2027 or 2028, if I kept on this trajectory, do you think I'd be able to do it? And if she said yes, I'd go, okay, great. Now I've got to ask the question, do I want to do what's needed to be done to get there? Not do I want to do it. They're different things.
Yep.
Would I like to finish a full Ironman?
Sure.
Damn right. Would I like to go through the training and the discipline of finishing a full Ironman? Damn right. Do I have other key objectives in my life, in my business, in my personal life? Yes. Now I have to weigh up, where's something going to give? Because something has to give.
Yeah.
Because when I'm going to put more time in here, I have
Something's
to
going
have
to
less
suffer.
time.
Yeah.
Now I've got to weigh up my life.
Yeah.
And that's the journey. You know, people want to build this become a billionaire or a multi-millionaire, but they're not prepared to sacrifice Netflix.
Yeah. And
Or they're not prepared to not go watch rugby on weekends.
Yeah.
You know,
It's balance, Barry. It's balance.
100%.
And I love the way you speak about balance. Is that balance? I'm paraphrasing, but balance doesn't necessarily exist in the sense that when you need to do this, you need to be focused on doing this.
Yeah,
right?
some form
Something's gonna
needs some
be
form
off.
of obsession.
Yeah.
You need to be in order to achieve anything great. I believe you have to have some form of obsession.
Yeah.
Depending on the level of greatness that you want to achieve.
For sure.
Many people don't want to be obsessed.
No.
So they want everything to balance up. I need enough time for my family, enough time for my friends, enough time for work, enough time for fun, enough time for doping, enough time for my business.
And then nothing actually
Okay, great.
happens.
Well, then if you do enough time and enough of the times, well, you'll get what enough times will give you.
Yes.
But, you know, that's where you look at a guy like Elon Musk. He's built his business.
Obsessed.
I mean, you see the stories. He's obsessed. He sleeps under his desk.
It's mad.
Well, if you want to have what he has, then maybe do that. If you're not prepared to do that, you're not going to have what he wants to have.
For sure.
Does that make sense? So this lesson about understand where the end goal is, but understand what's needed to be done to get to the end goal. Then understand who you need to be to get to the end goal. Then weigh up whether you want to work on being that person and whether you're prepared to do what's needed to be done and what else are you not going to be able to do that you should be doing, want to do, need to do, because something's going to give. And that's when you get clarity, and that goes back to what I write in my very first chapter of A Salesman's Journey. Begin with the end in mind. When you have clarity, I have clarity on what I want in the next 10 years of my life.
Yeah.
I have clarity on what I want in the next 5 years of my life. So I can sit down and go, as much as I'd love to do a full Ironman in the next 3 years, what is it going to take away from? And which is more important? Those goals that I've already set, or this goal of doing a full Ironman? Well, if it's going to take away from those, and those are more important than this, then I won't do this one. If I can do them all together, great. But if I can't, I'm going to be really honest. And that's the game. And that's the same in your business. It's the same with making money. It's the same with building a great relationship.
Yeah.
Okay. And most people don't want that, Suli. They don't want the sacrifice. They want it all, and they want it to be easy, and they want to have it.
Yeah, I feel like it's all or nothing. And the world truly does not work like that. And I love what you actually said around if anything that you want in life, in this life, you've got to get obsessed about it, and you're gonna have to make sacrifices. And you know, the funny thing is, for me, because of what I do on the team, I spend a lot of time on social media and researching and learning, and I see that word a lot: balance. You gotta have work-life balance. And I'm like, maybe if that's what you want, if you want to have work-life balance, then have work-life balance.
Yeah.
But if, like you said, if you want to build a $1 billion business, you better cut out the life part and focus on work, because that's what's going to get you to a $1 billion business.
Yeah. So you know this focus on. Hey, I'm going to throw something at you quickly.
Sure.
I think we're going to do part 2 of this.
Of course.
Yeah. So we're going to keep talking.
Okay.
And then those of you that are getting value out of this, there'll be a part 2.
I like it.
So we're in part 2.
You're starting part 2 now.
Yeah.
Wait. Come back. We'll see you guys soon.